Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Adiola Olubamiji, and I'm very, very happy that the time has come for us to start this live session. We will wait for a couple of minutes for a couple of people to join, and we'll get straight right into it. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are dialing in from. My name is Dr. Adiola Olubamiji, and I am so excited to have you guys join us today. A couple of days ago, I decided to share my anniversary about how I relocated to Canada a couple of years ago. I shared it on my timeline on Facebook and Instagram, and I decided to kind of come on Twitter for the first time in a long time. And to my surprise, the story inspired thousands of you. I wouldn't even just say 1,000. My story on Instagram had over 800,000 impressions. Aren't you guys awesome? I'm so thankful for the love. I'm so thankful for you guys how you receive the content. So I have decided that on my quarantine with Dr. Adi's show, so because of the lockdown issue that we have here in the US where I'm currently located, I decided to start to kind of chill with you guys every Friday and talk about different things. And since that information received a lot of love, so today we'll be talking about my journey to Canada. Not really. I mean, what are the pathways for people who want to relocate to Canada, and also kind of help you understand what should you know and what is your best option if you're thinking of relocating to Canada. Before we get started, I, Adiola Olubamiji, solemnly swear that I'm not a certified immigration consultant, that I am expressing my freedom of speech, and I am doing this to help more Africans get to Canada. All right, since I have sworn, I hope no immigration consultant will come from my head, right? So let's get started. And I have slides because I'm a professor, right? So I try to put visuals up to make it easy for people to follow. A little bit about myself. I am Dr. Adiola Olubamiji. I currently am located in Columbus, Indiana. I work for a Fortune 500 company, and I am a Canadian. About 2 years ago, the hustle continued from Nigeria to Finland. We moved to Canada, and I currently live in the US. Yes, I'm a Canadian citizen. I have hustled my way around the world. And this is why I think I am the right person to talk about this, because of the different paths that I have passed through. And all of my different immigration stuff, I have not had to pay any immigration consultant. So I feel like for poor people like myself, there is DIY. You can do it yourself. So help us God. Let's now get started. I'm going to go to my next slide, guys. Can you see my slides, guys? Can you see my slides? If you can see my slides, I want you to let me know that you can see it, so I can really know that you've seen it, because I'm going to be going through the slides. Can you see the slides? Can you see the slides? I haven't seen that anyone can see the slides. All right, great. So let's get started. So if you have to come to Canada, there are 6 paths or 6 different ways where people feel like I'm ready to go to Canada. So I'm going to talk through the 6 different paths that is possible for anyone who is willing to migrate to Canada. The first one is the permanent residence route. This is the common one because it affords you the opportunity to migrate from anywhere around the world if you are a foreign trained professional. So we have different streams under the Express and under the permanent resident program. We have the Express Entry stream, we have the Provincial Nominee stream, we have Rural and Northern Pilot Program stream, Atlantic Immigration stream. They recently came up with Agri-Food Pilot Program. Quebec, which is our French-speaking province, also have their own stream. So there's so many different streams: family sponsorship, startup visa, caregiver. So that's all under permanent residence. Anyone migrating to Canada under that stream will get a permanent residence. And after 3 years of living in Canada and filing their taxes, they will be naturalized and become Canadian citizen. If you're watching me and you know that somebody can benefit from this on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, I want you to take snapshots. Please, I want you to share it on your page. I want you to tweet it out so that people can know we have started. And please, I want you to tweet it out so that we can get more people coming in and learning and really maximizing these 2 hours that we want to spend together today. So the second route is the study route. So a lot of times when people evaluate some conditions, maybe finances or the fact that they don't meet the different permanent residence route requirement, you may use the option of study. So you may decide that you want to go study in Canada, and this is a temporary route to come into Canada, but it affords you the opportunity to get Canadian education and possibly Canadian work experience. And it is also possible for you to change that profile from the temporary profile to the permanent residence kind of profile. The third method that has been used a whole lot lately is the refugee asylum path. So a lot of times people migrate to Canada by coming irregularly to Canadian border, and they raise up their hands and they'll tell you different stories about horrific stuff happening where they're coming from. And Canada allows them to come into this country and help them settle down, give them places to stay, take care of them until they're able to go to their immigration hearing, and maybe they will retain them or probably send them back to the country. The second type of immigration under the refugee and asylum one is people come inside Canada, maybe their visa expire, and then when their visa expire, they will just say, hey, I'm not going back. I want to claim asylum. Maybe there's war happening in their country or some other things going on. The fourth route that is possible is the visitor's visa. A lot of times people just want to come to Canada, not because they want to live here, but they want to experience what is Canada like. They want to learn about the place, or sometimes maybe you're passing through provincial nominee program for Manitoba or some places. They require that you come to Canada first to be interviewed before you now relocate as a permanent resident. So that falls under the visitors area where there is you can do that. Also, for people who have EU passports, they may need to come to Canada to visit. They have to take what we call the ETA if they're coming to visit in Canada. We also have the super visa under this category. So if you are a permanent resident of Canada or you are a citizen, you can invite your parents from anywhere around the world. They get 10 years visa if they are super visa holders, and they can stay for 2 years at a time, which is great. So a lot of people who have new kids bring their parents to Canada under that super visa category to be able to have them take care of the kids for. I know that some people want to call me as we're talking here. Please don't call me right now, because if you call me now, you're going to interrupt the session. We have over 700 people on this session. Let's try to respect people. Please don't call right now. Thank you. So temporary visa is another route. There's so many different routes on that temporary visa. I'm not going to go through that because that's not really why we're here, right? Citizenship. So for people who comes to Canada to give birth to their children, it's called birth tourism. When you give birth to your children in Canada, they automatically become Canadian. After spending 3 years in Canada as a permanent resident, you become a Canadian citizen through naturalization. If you have a kid as a Canadian citizen, whether you give birth to them in Canada or outside Canada, those children also would be naturalized and become Canadian citizens. So those are the different routes for anyone thinking, I want to know the pathways to relocate to Canada. Those are the 6 pathways. And now let's get into what we need to learn today. So before we get into that, I want to give us a little bit of prep. We're going to be using some keywords, and those keywords, can you guys still see me? Can you hear me? I want to know. Can you hear me? So we're going to be using some keywords, and I have a few of those keywords that I want to explain before we bring our first guest. So give me some time. Let me find the slides. All right. Can you see the slide? So one of the keywords that you're going to hear a lot today is NOC, National Occupation Classification. So Adiola, if you are on here, so Adiola is my manager. Adiola, I want you to pin the title of today's episode. Please pin it to the page so that people can kind of see what the title is. All right, so National Occupation Classification. So you're going to hear a lot about NOC today. So we're concentrating on 3 NOCs if you're thinking of migrating under the permanent residence route. We're going to be talking about NOC O, NOC A, and NOC B. So if you can see the slide, so I'm explaining here what those three different NOC means, and there are other NOCs, right? But those other NOCs, we are not going to be dealing with them today because they are not going to help you to be eligible under the permanent residence route. So NOC A is really focusing on occupations that require university education. So if you have a university degree or you have a master's or a PhD, most of the work experience that you have are classified under NOC A. If you have a diploma or a certificate or technical school degree or diploma or license, your kind of job are categorized under the NOC-B structure. So all the kind of occupations that you may be eligible to do in Africa or wherever you're watching from is categorized under NOC-B. So if you are in managerial positions, your own jobs are categorized under the management occupation NOC-0. So you'll be hearing a lot about that today. So keep it in mind. And I want you to start to think through, what NOC do I fall into? Am I under NOC 0 or A or B? I want you to ask yourself that question. So I'm moving on to the next slide. So today you're going to also hear a lot about CLB, Canadian Language Benchmark. So if you take IELTS exam or CELPIP exam, this is categorized into Canadian Language Benchmark. For most of the applications that you do in the Express Entry stream, you have to have a minimum of CLB 7. So on my page right now, I want you to look at what is CLB 7, which means you have 6 in your reading, you have 6 in your writing, you have 6 in listening, and you have 6 in speaking. So if you fall into that category, that's the minimum required for Express Entry, right? But you want to be in NOC 9 and CLB 9. So I want you to probably take a snapshot of this so that you'll be able to go back and remember what a CLB 9 means, what a CLB 7 means, what a CLB 10 means. If you're on here today, you have taken IELTS. Now I want you to do a rough calculation to know what's your CLB. So I want you to jot down what your CLB means. Can you tell me on here what your CLB range is if you have taken IELTS, so we can kind of know what type of programs will be suitable for you today? What other thing do I have here? So I have on here something on ECA. So Education Credential Assessment. So if you go to school in other places, maybe you're coming in because you didn't go to school in Canada, which is pretty much the situation of most people. You are coming in from Nigeria, Ghana, Botswana, or India, wherever you're coming in from, because you didn't go to school in Canada, you need to regularize your degree. Canada needs to be able to confirm your degree and say that your degree is equivalent to exactly the same degree in Canada. So I want you to take note of that. So if you're thinking about, I want to participate on that Express Entry, ECA is something you must do. So you need to be able to do your ECA report. And here are some designated organizations that you can do the ECA report at. So there is the CES, there is the ICAS, there is WEST. So you need to use one of these different ECA organizations approved by IRCC for that. And I want you to remember that if you are in regularized field, like you're a medical doctor, you are a pharmacist, you guys have different paths for doing that. And we have the Medical Council of Canada looking after medical doctors. Pharmacy Examination Board of Canada will be looking after your pharmacy education. So if you're a pharmacist or a doctor, do not send your certificates to West, send it to the right places for you to get your stuff there and get your degree regularized. All right, so that's the basics. That's the basics of what we want to cover today. And we are waiting to invite Joy. So the next thing we want to talk about after you guys have, I want you to digest the basics. Before I move on to invite Joy, we will get to that. Somebody's asking radiographers. So I haven't talked about that. Apart from this ECA, if you have ECA and you are in fields like engineering, depending on the province you are going to, whoever is calling, please, I beg you, stop calling. This is not the time to be calling. We are trying to be serious and get people the information they need to come to Canada. So if you are engineers, architects, different professions that are regularized or regulated, each province in Canada have different bodies, different regulatory bodies that you need to submit your certificates to or to get regularized. I don't have that on this because it varies from province to province. I'm an engineer and I have submitted, I'm a professional engineer of Saskatchewan. So APEX, Association of Professional Engineers and Geophysicists of Saskatchewan, this is the body that helps engineers, foreign engineers, get a thumbs up that, okay, your credential as an engineer or a geophysicist is equal to the same credential in Canada. So that is APEX for Saskatchewan, APEGA for Alberta, PEO for Ontario. So from province to province, who will approve or endorse your certificate may vary. I hope you're following. So but for ECA, you may not need, if you're going under express entry, you may not need to go through APEX and all that. You just need ECA certificate first. All right. So let's move on. And it's now 12:15. So the plan is at 12:15, we are going to invite our first guest today. Her name is Joy Osesua. She's referred to as Mrs. O on Instagram. She is a powerful woman who has continued to share her knowledge, tremendous knowledge, with our audience about how she migrated to Canada as a student and converted a student entry into the permanent residence kind of stream. So I'm going to try to invite Joy to come in and we will get started. So give me 1 second. Let me invite Mrs. O on. Is everyone enjoying this so far? Like I said, please share this on your profile. Take a snapshot, share it on your profile, and let other people benefit from this. We are doing this for free. We are not charging you anything. I feel like you can also bless someone by sharing this with them so they can also get blessed in return for free. I believe that everything that God has given to us is for a reason, right? I am giving this to you freely. Do not be, please, do not be selfish with your timeline. Get somebody access to this live so they can be blessed. We are waiting for Mrs. O to accept and connect. All right.
Can you hear me?
Hello? I can hear you. I can't see you yet, though. Hello, are you here? Hello? Hello? We are waiting on Mrs. O to come on board and we will talk about the student routes, the different options available for you if you want to come to Canada to go to school. And if you also want to apply for your visa when you get your student admission, what are the criteria or what should you keep in mind? Some good tips for you. Mrs. O, we're waiting for you. I will try to do it again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
No, I can't.
Okay, I don't know what's happening.
Do you want to send invitation yourself?
No, I think you have to disable the screen you're sharing.
Okay, hold on. This is gonna be hard. Hold on. Um, hmm. Guys, sorry. I'm not really tech savvy like that. We're just learning these things. How do you disable it? Sorry, guys. So how do I disable my, if I don't want to share my screen anymore? Oh, God. Just give me a second. Let's try to figure this out.
So can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I don't know how to disable this.
Okay, I think we can carry on like that because I think you have to disable it before I can show, but I don't mind.
I do mind. I want people to see your beautiful face.
So except you want to end the live show and go up again.
I don't want to end it. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, now I found it. Are you there now?
Oh yeah.
I can't see you.
Not yet. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, just let me send in a request again.
Yes, please. You need to go off and send in another request. Okay. Mrs. O,
Yeah.
you
Okay,
need
I
to
don't
be
know.
the one to send the request, not me. Let me cancel this. Mrs. O, send the request. Be the one to send me the request, like I did when I came to your show, and then I will accept. Hello, I'm waiting on her. God. Sorry, guys. Just give us a few more minutes. Mrs. O, please send the request to me, and then I will accept. I sent request. Okay, view. Oh, I don't see her here. Go live with Mrs. O. Yes, this woman. Hard. Finally. Oh God. Hello, beautiful.
Oh my goodness. I'm sweating, and you can imagine just to do this. Oh my goodness.
We are
How
very
are you
pleased to have
doing?
you on here. This is the fire woman. I call her Power Must Change Hands. People, welcome with me. The Power Must Change Hands. Fantastic, Mrs. O. And Mrs. O you're going to have to tell us a bit about yourself. And we wasted, I think, about 10 minutes figuring this out. So introduce yourself and let's jump right into it. Do you want me to project your slide or not?
Oh no, no. I think it's fine because I saw a lot of them complaining that it's not clear enough. So if they want to see that slide, they can check on our post later on.
Okay.
So yeah, my name is Joy Chukwu Osazwa. So I like to call myself Mrs. O. I think it's easier and sweeter, right? So I'm a PhD student here. So I'm a lecturer back in Nigeria, and then I took a study leave to come study in Canada. So I'm running my doctorate degree at the Memorial University of Newfoundland in St. John's, Newfoundland. So based from my experience, right, I got so passionate about the movement that I'm pushing on now. So basically what I do is to promote DIY, for people who want to come to Canada to study or to relocate, to reside permanently in Canada, but are not able to afford the services of an immigration lawyer, consultant, agent, whatever you want to call it. I am not against you using the immigration consultants, but then we know how much their fees are, and we know some of us from Nigeria cannot afford this, and even from so many other countries. So that is why I'm doing this. When I was going through my own process, I didn't get someone doing this for me. So I didn't have any information. I have to search. In fact, the whole process is confusing. There are a lot of information online. You don't even know what to take and what not to take. So here I am. Thanks to Dr. Adi for giving me this platform to share with you how you can successfully come to Canada to study and also to transition into your permanent residency when you're done. So I'm going to start with choosing the right program of study. So it's very important that you choose the program of study, that is going to make you eligible for a postgraduate work permit. So a postgraduate work permit is the link you have to transition from a study visa into permanent residency. So when you come here to study and then you don't get your postgraduate work permit, bottom line, you're going back. So you have to pick a program that makes you eligible to get the postgraduate work permit. So there are some programs that do not make you eligible, especially programs that are not up to 2 years. So you have to, know the duration of the program that you're taking. There are also some eligibilities. I posted them, so I'll just go through them quickly. Like if you're coming to study English or French as a second language, that is like a certificate course, so you're not eligible for the postgraduate work permit. Or if you're coming in to take a general interest or self-improvement course, you're not eligible. So there are so many other courses. I can't go through all of them. So it's very important for you to know that you have universities and institutions in Canada. So you're coming to the universities. Are you coming to do a degree program or a diploma or a certificate course? So any course you're coming to do, if your plan is to study and reside in Canada, any course you're here to do must be up to 2 years so that you can at least get a work permit of, say, 3 years, a postgraduate work permit of 3 years, which gives you enough time, to transition into the permanent residency. But if you get courses that are less than, or programs that are less than 1 year, you get a postgraduate work permit of 1 year. In fact, if you get a course of 8 months, you get a postgraduate work permit of 8 months. And that 8 months is very little window period for you to transition. So very important. If your plan is to relocate to Canada, if your plan is to come study in Canada and reside, it is important for you to pick a course or a program that will allow you time or that will make you eligible to get the postgraduate work permit so you can easily transition. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the applying, because a lot of people ask, we have third class, we have 2-2, we have 2-1. Can we apply? What can we come to do in Canada?
Excellent.
So, yeah, so if you have third class or you have tutu or whatever you have, there are no restrictions. There are no restrictions. You can go straight up and say, oh, I want to do my master's or whatever you want to do. But it's important for you to have it at the back of your mind that these admissions are competitive. It's not just for you. The space is not just for you. So it's like a pool, just the way you get into the CRS pool. And then we start to filter people that have the highest score. So you are with third class and you want to get into the pool for master's or for PhD in Canada. So what are your chances? So common sense. It makes sense for you to drop down. You can say, okay, let me go to postgraduate diplomas. You can say, oh, let me go to course-based masters like the MEng, you know, and every other course. Those ones are not so competitive. And then you have more chances of getting, you know, yourself an admission. Also, for those of you that say, oh, I have a huge gap, maybe you studied and you graduated like since 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and you're wondering, are they going to give me admission? Even if I get the admission, will they give me visa? Or most of you who are mothers like myself, I have 3 kids. So some of you are saying, we have 5 children. Are they going to accept us? It's important for you to know that you can apply to the school as a matured student, right? So if you come in through that route, so they already know your condition and then they are taking you in as such. So it's important for you to make it open to them that I'm coming in as a matured student. So you have extra benefits, or rather, should I say, some things will be relaxed for you. So it's going to make your study here very convenient. So some of you asking about...
I want to, before you go on, I want to touch a bit about the matured student route, because oftentimes a lot of people want to go back to school are people that they have tried to get into the pool. Their CRS score is low, and they're in their 40s or early 45 or 50s, you know, approaching 50. If you fall in that category, your CRS score may be low. So you have option. You can be a matured student and come with your family to Canada. When she finishes, I'm going to touch on that a bit. Or you can go and look at PMP. Some of the PMPs that still allows a good bandwidth of, it's after 50 that you get 0. Less than 50, you still get some points. So take note of that. I get a lot of matured students or matured people writing to me and talking about their dilemmas. So this could be useful for you. There is the matured student route that you can consider, talk to the school, and they will relapse some of those criteria for you. You can continue. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So something else I want to touch about, you know, the scholarship. So we talk about a lot of there are a lot of scholarships out there. If you go and type in Google, search for scholarships for women in science, scholarships for developing countries, you're going to see a whole lot of scholarships. But since the focus is coming to Canada to study and reside, it's important for you to look at the scholarships you are accepting. There are a lot of scholarships that doesn't make you eligible, you know, to get the postgraduate work permit. I'm going to mention one very popular scholarship in Canada. A lot of you come into Canada and then you just accept the scholarships. You don't read the terms and the condition. And then when you're done, you apply for your postgraduate work permit and then they tell you, oh, go back to your home country, because that is what you've signed. So the Canada that is the scholarship that is awarded by the government of Canada, funded by the Global Affairs Canada. So there are scholarships that are funded by the Global Affairs Canada. Those kind of scholarships does not make you eligible for the postgraduate work permit. So you have to be careful with what kind of scholarships you are accepting. And then some people get scholarships back from home in Nigeria. Look at the terms and conditions. It's very important. Even scholarships from Nigeria, if you sign that you're going to return back after your studies, of course you have to return, because when it gets to the immigration office, they're going to do a background check, and if you have signed that scholarship, sorry, you cannot have the postgraduate work permit. That means you have to return back. So that is that on scholarship. I'm trying to finish up everything I have. I hope I'm able to finish it. You
have some time.
Okay. So something else I would like to talk about is how to go about securing your admission. So now you know you've looked at all the programs and all the courses and you've decided that, okay, this is what I want to do in this particular school. What is the first thing you have to do to be able to secure? Like I said earlier, these admissions are competitive. It's not just you in the pool waiting to be accepted. You have people with first class, 2-1 from US, from China, from India, all over the world. So how do you stand a chance to get into the school? So I like to tell people first to if I see a school that I want to, get into, the first thing I'm going to do is to go to even before I start to apply, I don't just go straight up, fill out the application form. No, I like to establish a communication with whoever that is in charge of the international office, because every school in Canada has their international office. So the work of that office is to help international students, get into the school. So you send an email to whoever that is in charge, the coordinator or whatever, or you can go to the department you're aiming to get into, and send an email to the admission officer, or maybe to the graduate officer if it's a graduate program, whoever. But there should be someone there who you can reach out to and tell them, oh, I came across your school, I've done my research, and I want to get into the school. I would love for you to give me any resource that will be useful to me. That is it. In Canada, people respect emails a lot. So if you send that email, give it a day or two, you're going to get loads of emails with a lot of information. Emails of people you are supposed to, send mails to, numbers of people to contact. You're going to get a lot of information. And always remember to go back and say, oh, thank you, I got your mail, and I'm going to work, based on your email. I hope to resume soon in your school. Let there be a communication, because you're going to need it for your visa. I'll get to that point.
There
so
are
going
some
back,
questions already being dropped.
Okay.
If you permit me, I want to ask one that is burning on my mind, or two. The first one is, somebody asked here, what are my chances if I hold HND? So if you can you touch a bit about, if somebody has HND, what are their options in terms of, maybe they can they get scholarships? If they can't get scholarships, what type of program at least can they be looking out for? Then the next thing I want you to touch on is people who have 2-2. I'm seeing here people saying, I have second class lower, 2-2. What are my chances? What type of programs should I be targeting? Are they going to come with scholarships or not? Please, if you can, help us touch on those two. Thank you.
Okay, so I talked about that earlier. I don't know, maybe people asking the question just came on. But yeah, like I said before, people with 2-2, it could be a third class. It's not, it could, because I get a lot of questions, people saying, I have a third class. What programs am I eligible for? And then if you have HND, you can apply to come in for your postgraduate diploma. And the thing is, all these programs, it depends on the school. Some schools have scholarships for these programs and some do not have. But mostly in Canada, you find out that a lot of research-based programs, this tree here is not so clear. Otherwise, this flow charts, you would have seen it
it's
clearly.
Clear, oh, I can see it. Can you guys see the flow chart?
Most of them keep saying that they can't see it, that is not clear enough.
Take a snapshot and try to expand it on your screen. This is very, I want to tell you, the flow chart that she puts up for us is the best on the market. It's explicit, it's very good, and there is no way I want you to miss out on the information on this flow chart. So please take a snapshot of it, make it work, because you will see all the pathways there. Which ones leads to where? So you can use it to calculate your own trajectory around what is the best option for you. So please try to, we are going to, if with permission of the audience and the speaker, I'm going to put all the slides that I'm going to share today into a Google folder. We're going to download this video. We're going to put it on YouTube for people who didn't have data to join. And we're going to mass produce it on social media for everybody to have access to it at their own pace. You still get this slide, okay? Even if you don't get it right now. If our speaker allows me to share with you guys, you get it.
Yeah.
I want you to try to expand it a bit so you can really get it as she's explaining. You can keep going. Thank you.
I have it on my page, so just in case you also want to go on my page and check out this flow chart. So like I was saying, for people with 2-2 and third class, I like to advise you, for your own benefits, to go down, go for lower degree courses. We have advanced postgraduate courses and we have the lower postgraduate courses. So if you have HND, why don't you go for a postgraduate course? It could be lower or higher because you have HND. But if you have a strong score, for your HND, you can decide to go for it. Because the thing is, they are going to assess your transcripts. They are going to look at the courses you've done and what grades you've passed these courses with. So that is based on that, they are going to make their selections. But if you have a 2-2, and then you go for something lower, at least you stand a chance, because in that pool you have people like people with that class of results. So you stand a chance to be picked, right? Did I answer your question? Or
Yeah,
am
I
I
think you're
forgetting?
okay. One thing that I want to add, if it's okay, is that a tutu is, it could be strong if you have a case to present. When you evaluate your entire portfolio, sometimes it's not only the grades that they evaluate. If you have other things in your portfolio that makes you a strong candidate, maybe you've done some work, maybe you took some online courses, maybe you did something. So how you present your package really matters here. So you can have a tutu and you have upgraded over time through taking different courses, short courses here and there. You have done some work experience that shows that this is innovative, this is really good work, and how you
Yeah.
really present yourself. So she talked about initiating a contact with the admission officer who is responsible for the international office. If you present yourself in a way where you actually call them, you explain your situation, you send in a good package, somebody can actually give you a master's degree with a tutu. So also with
Yeah.
HND. In Canada, HND is not looked at as a smaller than BSc. I did a post about this a while back. HND, in fact, under the express entry stream, could give you more scores under education than a BSc. So don't feel bad about having HND. HND in Canada is not a big deal. It's like your BSc. So if you do evaluation with West will evaluate your HND as a credible certificate. It's only in Nigeria that HND is looked down on. So I want you to kind of help yourself raise your self-esteem and ego. If you are with HND, you are good. You're good. There's nothing wrong with you. If you have strong grades in your ND and HND, and you can produce good transcripts that shows the breakdown of your courses, and they are related to the courses you are trying to work on, and you can write a very good statement of purpose, initiate relationship with the admission officers, you are good. I see a couple of questions that I want to ask one of them. So you don't have to do PGD. That's my point. And you can do PGD. So PGD is good for people who have tutu. If you think my scores are lower or something like that, yes. But if you have HND and it's strong, don't do PGD.
Yeah.
Go and apply for masters. You are as eligible as somebody who has a bachelor's. Now, somebody's asking about ND, that if they have ND, what would you say they do? Thank you.
Well, for ND, I would still recommend you come in for your PGD, or you go for, because ND is the lower national diploma, right? So it's just like getting a diploma, like a regular diploma here. So they will treat you as such with normal the normal diploma level that we have here. So most people that graduate from diploma here, they can go ahead to do, you know, their postgraduate diplomas, or you can go ahead to, you know, if you want to go back to do a degree course, or you can get into like the nursing school or stuff like that, because for you to get into all those schools, you need a prior degree. So you can utilize an ND, you know, for postgraduate. The bottom line is try to get into a pool that is, because of the competition, you have to get into a pool that is good enough for you to be selected. That is the bottom line. So whatever your courses are, you know your portfolio more than I do. You're the one who knows if you have a job experience, whatever you have. It's your portfolio. So just assess it and tell yourself, this is where I'm getting into. And mind you, you're competing with people all over the world, right? So you have to just put yourself in a place where you would be picked.
Great. If you permit me, I want to ask a question, and it's about people with good grades. So there are so many people on here who have first class, who have 2-1, who are from poor background like myself, who are feeling like I cannot afford to pay for PGD. I want scholarship. Because I merit it. I have good grades. I suffered when I was in university so that I can get a good grade to have leverage. How can they make sure that they do the right things to be able to have leverage? There is another question here on IELTS and GRE or GMAT. People are asking, do Canada schools require that? When? If you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay, so I would start with those with good grades. Of course, with good grades, it's easy for you to get any scholarship whatsoever. So just go to the right link. I think, Dr. Adi, you do something about scholarships, like you have a link where people can get scholarships. So you can follow Dr. Adi for that. But yeah, there are scholarship.
Yes. I
You want
want
to
to
say
add to
something?
the fact that STEM Hub Foundation is my foundation, and we regularly post scholarships for people who
Mm-hmm.
are interested. And on a yearly basis, we select 10 people with good grades who are trying to apply to Canadian schools and US schools. We coach them. So we match them with coaches. So these coaches coach them on how to make sure they put forward best applications. This year, we've had 3 people, one going to UBC, one coming to Newfoundland. So we've had one going to Saskatchewan, who went through this stream under STEM Hub, and we were able to help them. It's all free. STEM Hub Foundation is a foundation that I created for low income people like myself who are smart. So you can watch out for that stream where you get a mentor to help you, or you can just be looking on my page and STEM Hub's page to get free. We post scholarships, we collect it from around the world, we post it out. So shoot your shot. If you have good grades, I want to touch on something, if it's okay. So for those with good grades, there are a couple of criteria you need to think about, even for anybody coming to school. Yes, apart from the fact that you want to run away to Canada, you may run away to Canada and take a course and finish and not get a job after you graduate. So
Oh
before
yeah.
you make any choice as to this is the course that I want to pick, I want you to really do a little bit research about how lucrative is that course in Canada. How does this course position me for job? How does this job position me post-graduation? So I want you to critically look at the course, not because somebody recommended it because it's easy, or everybody is doing MBA. Me too, I want to go and do MBA. If you come to Canada, everybody has MBA, there's no job. Okay, so I want you to critically look at, why should I take this course? Because you are going to suffer 2 years or so in Canada. You want to make sure that you know that if I graduate from this program, I'm going to get a job, because this is my only option when I'm looking to stay beyond my education period in Canada. So please look at how lucrative that job is. I want to touch a bit about the jobs of the future, because I'm an Industry 4.0 advocate. As you think about your graduate program, your diploma program, think about, what are the criteria for the jobs of the future. Am I going to position myself to be competitive when I finish this program? What does that mean? Are these the areas Canada or Canadian employers currently recruiting people at? Please do a little bit of research to find out that before you can go ahead and invest your time and money into that admission. Because running away to Canada is not enough. There are people who are running away to Canada who are poor in Canada, who are living in basements, right? I'm not using this to brag or anything, but there are also people who, the day they finish university, before they even convocate, they got jobs. I'm one of them. I graduated in 2016, and before I defended my thesis, I already got a job. I already moved to Ontario in the middle of recession. When Canada was suffering from oil crisis and everybody was losing job, I got a job. Yes, I hustled up for that job. I'll tell you about it next week, but I got it because I'm a 3D printing specialist, and there is shortage for that everywhere in the world. So positioning is very critical when you're trying to get admission for anything. Please don't go and do course that is already two naira or is already too common. That's one advice I want to give you. For those people who are smart, who feels like, I'm smart, I have good grades, you are like me. I feel like I'm a smart person, I've paid my dues. Any school that I'm going to in this world has to be paid for by someone. There is no way in hell that I'm paying for school. If you're like me, that you're very confident in your ability, you will have to be very strategic in looking for that scholarship. Let's talk a bit about what I mean by strategic. You have to look for, okay, what are the schools in Canada that offers the course that will give me a good return on investment when I graduate related to my program? Do you see the matrix? I've drawn a matrix around that. Once you identify those schools, you need to go and look at each of the profiles of those schools. In those schools, what department is offering those programs? Sometimes there may be 3 programs that you can do with your bachelor's in one thing. So let's say you have a bachelor's in physics. With a bachelor's in physics, you can do a master's in system engineering. You can do a master's in biomedical engineering. You can do a master's in bioinformatics. You can do a master's in data science with 1 degree. You can do multiple masters. So don't be looking for masters in physics because you studied physics. Look at what is the trade like. For what I chose, what is the trade? Draw your map as to what those trees are and select 3 courses that you feel like are very lucrative based on those trees that you've drawn, and now narrow down which school can I find these 3 courses. When you find a school, maybe you selected 5 schools. You cannot do all the schools in Canada. Go and look for schools with easy criteria. Schools that just announce funding, that they receive money. Go and look for those schools. And go and now look at which professors have those money. When you see the profiles of those professors, you need to be ready to approach them in a manner that is logical and not too sympathetic and not sounding like you are here to beg, you are here to give, you are here to take. You need to write to those professors intentionally. Find somebody. I'm a career coach. You can approach me. Let's draft you a very logical email, not more than 3 paragraphs, showcasing your skill set, what you know about this professor. Have you read their papers? Before you approach any professor, you must read at least 3 of their new papers. Papers they published 2019 and 2020, because that is the area where they currently have funding. Find those papers, read them, mark out at least 5 keywords that is associated with their research. So when you're drafting a letter to that professor, you want to be writing something about what you have read that they've done. And don't just present yourself like I'm looking for opportunity. No, this is what I can offer your research. I have read your work. This is the relationship. I've read your work, and this is what I have done in the past that is related to your work. I am looking for an opportunity to join your lab, to contribute. Nigerians oftentimes present ourselves like we want to take. You are not only taking. When you are there as a smart person, you are there to contribute and give and help enhance this person's work. So present yourself the way you are. You are a champion. You have first class. You are smart. Show it off. Don't hide it. In Canada, you need to toot your horn. In that 3 paragraphs that you're sending to that professor, toot your horn. You're a first class person. You have 5 years of experience. You have read their work. You identify with this and this. Put everything there. 3 solid paragraphs. No ma. If you just say hi, put their name. Hi, put doctor something. And go straight to the point. Don't be bullshitting them with God bless you, all of those Nigerian stuff. Remove those from your emails because it will sound too sympathetic. You are wondering why you're not getting replies for your email. It's too sympathetic. It looks like you're a beggar. You are not showcasing that you know that professor enough because you have not read their papers. You don't have the right keywords. You are not showcasing your goodness, what you bring to the table. You are talking like I need help. You are coming as a contributor. Showcase your, how good you are. That is the way to get a professor to say, yes, so how are you? There are some schools in Canada where you don't need a professor. If you have first class, schools like University of Alberta, there are a couple of schools, they don't need a professor. Computer science department, University of Saskatchewan, you don't need a professor. You need strong grades. Go and, if you are strong grade people, first class, 4 point something, go and look for those schools that does not require you to have a professor. Compete with people from China and get into Canada. Canada is looking for you, waiting for you. Those schools are looking for you. So go and look for schools that does not require professors, require high grades. Slot in your application, slot it in. I'm waiting for Nigerians with 4.90 or 5. I'm waiting for you guys to come back and tell me, doctor, it worked. All right, madam, please continue. I'm so past. I went to school now. I went to school in Canada. I have
You need to read your comments. As in, it's so funny. I'm just enjoying myself reading the comments alone. Some people are just interested to just spot. They don't even want to know. They are like, don't worry, when we get there, we'll be all right. It's so funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you touched a lot of things that I was going to say later about securing a supervisor. So I will just say what.
Please still add your own because we may see things from different ways. Please, madam.
Oh yeah. So the last question, you asked 3 questions. So the third one, someone said, do we need a test of English, GRE, GMAT? So the thing is, for most schools in Canada, because Nigeria is an English-speaking country. So if you're here listening to us and your country is English-speaking country, you do not need the test of English, because when you're filling the form, yes, you're going to see a place where it says you should submit your test of English. But when you click down every box, you're going to see exemptions, like list of countries that are exempted. So most times, those English-speaking countries are always there. So don't get discouraged because you just look at it and you say, oh, I need test of English. And then for the GRE and the GMAT, I think it's based on the course, right? So I can't say if you need it or not. So it's dependent on the course. So if your course says you need it, please. There's no way around it. So I was talking to someone and then she said she sent an email to the school to find out if they're going to make a waiver for her, you know, for the GRE. But they replied her back and said, no, we cannot make a waiver for you. But something else I know she can do, you can request to, oh, can I get a conditional offer of admission? You know, based on when I'm able to give you the GRE because of the pandemic or just because of the pandemic, because if not for the pandemic, you can't even make that request. But now a lot of things are, you know, going, sliding and all that. So for those of you who are not able to write your GRE or your GMAT because of the pandemic, all you need to do is just to send them an email, negotiate with them. So if you have a supervisor already, and your supervisor approves of this and says, oh, go ahead, they're going to put in a word for you. So if you're sending them an email and saying, my supervisor approves you to give me a conditional offer of admission based on when I'm able to submit this. But again, you cannot use a conditional offer of admission to file in for your visa. So bottom line, you have to wait.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that is it about the test of English. So I'm going to move on, right? Like I said earlier, establishing a communication is key, right? So for scholarships, so Dr. Adi, you were talking about scholarship. The scholarship you're talking about, is it just for research-based programs? Because to the best of my knowledge, securing a supervisor or this kind of scholarships are for research-based programs. So what about those who are interested to, you know, do the course-based programs and then they want scholarship? I know those kind of scholarship are a bit scarce to come by.
Yes.
Okay, so I think it's the same, right?
You should talk about that.
Oh, right. Because it seems like you have tons of information. Okay, so the thing is, if you don't have, if you are smart, you know you're smart, yeah, like Dr. Adi said, and you feel you can, you know, break in and get an admission, most of those research-based courses are funded, and because they are funded, the embassy cannot even refuse your visa because you have a letter from inside of Canada saying that, oh, I've accepted this person, this is the amount of money I'm giving to them. The embassy will not even look at your own personal step. They will just give you the visa. But the problem is most people that get rejected are people that are coming in for course-based programs or programs that are not funded. And I don't think there's a way around it because most scholarships go for those research because scholarships are for research, right? So except maybe you're now getting scholarship for developing countries where they just want to help you and pay your school fees. And those kind of scholarship requires that you return back after your study because they are helping you so that you go back and, you know, make inputs to your country. So we have to understand these things, right? I think that is it. I can't say more about that. So I'll move on to, after you have, you know, established communication with the school, the next thing for you to do is to go right ahead and fill in your, something next. I want to drop something about getting a supervisor. So if you have done everything you can and you can't get a supervisor, I like to tell people, package your portfolio and give it to the grad officer. Tell them, keep it, anybody that comes in, give it to them. That is how I got my supervisor. I did everything. In fact, I even wrote proposal. I went to, because this is something else you can do. So if you go to the webpage of whichever professor you're aiming to work with, look at any current job that they are doing. If you're a researcher, look at any current job that they are doing. Go back home. Look for a new, maybe a new technique. Like if it's, for example, my supervisor is renowned with molecular techniques. So I just go back and I look for a very novel molecular technique that I know that man might not know, but he's looking for a student. He has told me there is no space, so, but I've gone back, made my research and designed a protocol for him and I submit it to him. The next day, the person is in your mails telling you, how did you do this? And then they are sending for you to come right away because my lab is full at the moment back in school. But if my supervisor sees someone that is like that, he's bringing the person in straight up. So these are extra things you can do, right? So go
if you permit me. So, you know, we can always use one another as ladder to climb up, right? So I have personally recommended people for University of Waterloo, where I was an adjunct for a while. I have recommended people for my professor at University of Saskatchewan, who I felt like these are good students. I have some people in academic like Dr. Rita Orji and so many other Nigerians that I feel like they're professors in Canada. So if I see a student who is qualified, I can pass your profile to them and say, please, if you are considering students, does this match something that you're working on? Why am I saying this? Some of your friends, some of your uncles, some of your cousins, they are in grad school in Canada. Some of them, they have gone to grad school in Canada and they've left grad school. They have some sort of connection with that school. They were students of